I don't know how you got removed. All right, we're live with Len Lamanna. I'm saying that right, right?
Yeah, you are. Thanks. Hi, John. How are you, man? Thanks for having me. Um,
Uh, thanks for
I
coming
love
on.
I love being able to have a chance to get my art and my projects out there to the masses. I'm from Toronto, Canada. I don't know if you've ever been to Canada. I've
I
been to
have.
this.
I've been to Toronto.
Oh
I
yeah,
played a
nice.
lot of hockey as a kid. I've been to Montreal, and I also was in a drum corps.
Oh, sick.
And,
Where are
and
you
we
from?
played.
Where are you from? Where are you right now?
I'm in Missouri right now.
Okay, nice. Cool, cool, cool.
Yeah, yeah. And but I used to travel to Montreal, and then I've been to Toronto once, clean city. I
Yeah.
liked it because I was 16 and they let me in the bars then, and that was
Yeah,
cool.
I got in around 16, 17. I started shaving when I was like 10 or 11. So, my dad's Italian, right? So, I was, shaving early, grade six. So
You
by the
don't
time,
need
I was getting into clubs and shit, right?
you don't need an ID. He's got a beard.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah,
As long as you don't cause any trouble, you can kind of, squeak your way in somehow.
it was definitely a memory that lasted, especially Montreal. That was
I
really
love
cool.
Montreal, man. I've had a blast every single time I'm there. I like it a lot more than Toronto, but I guess it's kind of the novelty of going away or vacationing or doing whatever. But there's old Montreal, which kind of looks like Europe, and like the people there are more liberated than Toronto. People from Toronto, it's kind of a little bit more of like a New York feel where they don't really have time for you. But we're nice people. Torontonians are really nice people, but it's a busy life here. You're working your job and you could barely buy a coffee at the end of the day, right? It's an expensive place to live, and it's a busy city. It's a big city. So I was born here. I've lived here for I'm going to be 40 in May 4th, and that's when my new album comes out, E Fragments, and that's the fifth album by Frail Fragment. So yeah, man,
Uh,
I'm just trying to get the word out, and this pandemic has been real interesting. I got sent from I work for the city, and I got sent home from work like a couple of years ago, and it was just like I was sent home for a year and 10 days. And 8 months in, I was going loopy. Like I live in an 800 square foot condo with my wife and my two kids, and the news is saying don't talk, you can't talk, don't talk to anybody, and the news is kind of scaring the shit out of everybody. And we started going crazy in our house, and 8 months in, I was like, you know what, i I was always used to I've been playing music since I was 12 years old. I've been writing songs since I was 12, 13 years old. I recorded, my first recording session, I was like 15. So I've been in the studios for a long time, right? Like, I don't even know how long that is. My math isn't my strong point. 25 years, and it was difficult. And I tried to go the music supervisor route, like trying to get my music in movies and stuff, because I feel like it has some sort of a mood to it. It's moody, it's dark, and I was trying to figure out, where my music would fit. And I would contact music supervisors, and there was out of 100 you'd contact, you might get 3 that message you back. This was pre-pandemic, and nothing would happen from those 3 guys. Now during the pandemic, after those 8 months, I'm like, you know what, I'm going to try again. But I didn't contact music supervisors anymore. I went straight to the directors, and I started from the bottom, and I went to like Facebook groups and like movies that were in production during COVID. And I said, you know what? Let's try the horror genre. My music's dark. And I worked my way up from like, international student films to, indie horror films. And I just took the ball running, man. And I put in work, a lot of work. And within 4 days, so just to backtrack a bit, the progression during COVID, if you contact 100 people, 100 directors, 20 will get back to you now because everyone's working from home. I felt like this was like a perfect storm to kind of get out there because everyone's in front of their computers. So I started hustling and messaging directors after directors after directors, and a lot of them, And within 4 days, Mike Mustasus, who's doing the Ravage trilogy, contacted me on my phone saying, you know, a bit about what the movie's about, and you know, let's work together. Basically, I'm interested in
Yeah,
some of your music, right?
he's such a good dude. I had him on about a week or so ago. What a good guy. A great
Really
movie.
nice guy. I mean, he cares a lot about the people around him. You know, nothing's for free with him, which is really cool. I mean, you know, and we're all trying to help each other at the end of the day. And, you know, and that's at the beginning. So he was kind of the first guy to kind of open that door for me, really. And from there, it's like it kind of strokes your ego and you want more. And you start kind of going down that rabbit hole of what movies are in production here and there and here and there. And I got hooked up with another guy, and I'm going back to Michael. I'm really excited to do this Ravage trilogy with him, like, because I wrote this album, this last fifth album, E Fragments, coming out on May 4th. You know, I wrote it during those 2 years of being, you know, inside during the pandemic, and like it means a lot. This album meant so much to me because it was like a real thing that the whole world was experiencing. In some way, they were affected, and it's in the music. And it just so happens that Michael Mustasus was writing a Ravage trilogy about a pandemic, and it's kind of like we started at the same time, and we're still going right now. And like I sent him my new stuff, and he's like, "Wow, you know this, I like it," and this is kind of correlates to what my movies are doing, you know. So let's keep going with this. Let's keep going with this, and I'm excited. And some other projects I'm working on as well is from there. I started doing, you know, I'm in Derek Brosh's Flesh Fire. Some song, one of my songs, Schizophrenia, is in that movie, and I was in 40 UR with. It was directed by Charles. I don't want to screw up his last name, Chudabala, and you know, what was really cool is I got in touch with Jason Hawkins, and he works with AKA Management, and he's part of like that Rocket Pig umbrella. I don't know if you know too much about them, but they're like a big group that do independent movies, and they're doing really well, and they're a tight knit unit, and they have a bunch of actors within their group, bunch of directors within their group. And you know, I started talking to Jason Hawkins, and I really liked his aesthetic, and he did the Bleeding Dark with Aline Dietz and like a bunch of actors. There's I'm sorry, I don't have the actors in front of me. There's a guy from like the original Back to Future in that movie. And
Okay, I think he, I'm so bad with names too. I forget things. I think I saw him on last night with oh my God, I feel so bad. I'm so bad with names, and I know these people, and I speak to so many, I lose my train of thought. And
yeah, you work hard, man. You're active. You're active
yeah,
in this world.
I work 24-hour shifts, and then I'm doing all this, and I feel so bad at times because I love these people. I'll forget the people next to me. I swear I'm getting Alzheimer's, but I got so much going on between notes and individuals I deal with, like at work, and then it was so bad with it, and it's embarrassing. It's like, that's why I don't like to mention names, because I screw them up. Like Mike, I didn't even want to say his last name. It's just so
yeah.
It's so much work. Because I always get like, I want to say Angel Bradford, but I know, or Heather Beck or something, and it's not, you know. And it's one of the best people out there too, and I can't think of her name. She had him on last night, I believe, and I'm gonna find it because for whatever reason it's slipping my brain. But yeah, I think it's just Alzheimer's kicking in, dude. I don't know.
Nah, what are you gonna do? We all have it, man. We all have a bit of it. But
Yeah.
I'm excited to do the score for the Bleeding Dark, and it's kind of in a court battle right now. So it's taking a while to get the movie into my lap, but I'm excited about that, and I've kind of like storyboarded that movie for the last kind of 10 years of my life, singing little like clippets into my iPhone or whatever, and like all of that stuff. And I went into the studio and I kind of mapped some of that stuff out to go with that movie. So that movie is going to be really special for me. It's going to be like my baby, The Bleeding Dark, and The Last Sleigh Ride as well. Like that's another movie that he's doing. He's doing a third movie called Cross Hollow that we're talking. Like I got some songs for, and it's exciting. And he has the Ouija coming out. He's a very prolific writer, and I feel like, I don't want to go like ham to, pushing the pedal 100 miles an hour with a lot of projects, right? Because I do work, a 40-hour a week job. I'm playing in a band again. We're kind of starting it up again, like after this whole pandemic BS, and then getting out there and playing live, writing music, kind of getting my mind right and my body right, just from like being at home all that time and being isolated and the mental effects of all that bullshit. But it brought a lot of cool stuff, man. Like I was talking to the CEO of Rocket Pig because he couldn't fly anywhere. So he was driving from like, Albuquerque, New Mexico to Vegas, and Albuquerque to LA. And we would just have long conversations in his car, right? And like we got to know each other, and his name's Jerry Giangelo. Okay. And his girl Aubrey, it's her birthday today. Happy birthday! But shout out to Aubrey. Yeah. But yeah, like we got to know each other, and I'm looking forward to working with him too. And everything is kind of umbrella-ing under him, like Rocket Pig, and then AKA Management is affiliated with them. So I mean, I knew nothing about the movie business, dude, like 2 years ago.
So the pandemic. The last few years, it's been tough, but it's also kind of been a blessing in disguise. I mean, it gave me time to write. I imagine a little bit more, maybe get a little more deeper into your thoughts, get those, because, as somebody who's dabbled a little bit myself, usually I when you have that inspiration or something that's kind of adds that level of passion or emotion, just goes so much to with what you're doing. And
the pandemic, that doesn't happen. That happens, once every like bunch of lifetimes, right? Like the last one was, I don't know, in the 40s or something like that, 1940s. So, I mean, this is special. And I just want to say hi, Topaz Ann. Thanks for the shout out. Nice to meet you too. Thanks for listening. And again, thanks, John, for doing this. This is awesome. Doomsday Krypt.
Love to do these.
Yeah.
I love getting to meet everybody in the community, to tell you the truth. It's just something so much fun that, I've met so many interesting and fascinating people that it's exciting for me when I get to meet somebody like yourself or Mike or really anybody that I've met. I've talked to Beatrice Bupley, who's Freddy Krueger's mother, Amanda Krueger. I've talked to so many cool people, and it's like, wow. And I love, especially with working so much, it's cool to meet some people from outside and doing things for these movies, or I've done things in these movies, and really trying to enjoy the community. And seeing movies like Ravage that you did the music, and I really loved the sound. I told Mike when he was on how much I really, really enjoyed it. Because without the right sound in a movie, if the music's not there, it's gonna kill the movie. So I always consider that one of the biggest parts that can make or break a film is the soundtrack.
For sure. And it's cool, like how, there's a lot of loyalty in this independent group, right? Where it's kind of, you come up with them and you're all trying to help each other. And then it's like, you're kind of pushing this snowball up this hill. And once it kind of starts going down the hill, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And we're all part of that. Even like you know what I mean? Big part of that. So, hats off to, because if you didn't like doing what you're doing right now, you wouldn't do it, right? Like,
well, honestly, it's something I never really thought I'd be doing, to tell you the truth. I was a guy who started unboxing masks once in a while. I actually really started off just gaming with my buddies and streaming once in a while. And then I started doing the unboxings, and then I went and did a convention last year, and Doomsday's Krypt kind of started growing from there. And then I was like, you know what, let me start doing some interviews. And and getting more into the indie part of getting to meet some of these actors and actresses. And I've met so many cool ones, like Sean Thompson's been on, Angel Bradford, you name it. And then the other YouTubers, the artists, the musicians now that, because you reached out to me, you have musicians on. I'm like, that's a good idea. Let me get you on, man. Let's schedule, let's get you going. Cause I love music. It's something I've always enjoyed, and it's always something that always brings things to me. And one of the things I really enjoyed about some of your music is I saw a lot of influence, and we were talking before that we weren't talking. We made sure we didn't want to talk and talk too much about things. And
who do I sound like that I would know, right? Like,
I mean, I definitely get an Alice Chains vibe in some of those songs.
For sure. One of my favorite bands.
That's my all-time favorite band. So
okay. We'll get along just fine. Yeah.
I mean, I do, the new lineup's okay, but there's just, without Len Staley, it's just
that guy, that singer is a ringer, dude. Like, I've seen them with the singer like 3 times now, dude. He can fucking sing perfect Len Staley, but he nails it. The problem with him is when they try to do their stuff written with him, like their new shit. He has no
personality for it, his own style.
His personality isn't there. His voice is like a dead ringer, professional Len Staley sing-alike.
I haven't seen him live. So I've gotten where he sounds more like Jerry Cantrell, where he's not like where Jerry Cantrell and Len Staley kind of fed off each other. Jerry would sing the melodic, and then Len would just kick into that scream, the melodic scream. Because Len Staley's my all-time favorite vocalist of all time, and Jerry Cantrell's. I mean, Alice in Chains is my favorite band. So
he's in my top 5. But Chris Cornell, dude.
Yeah,
that guy, for me, that guy's like my idol. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like voice, but I'm going Len. I'm going Len. I gotta go Len. I got him. But
I would say, sorry to cut you off, Chris Cornell. Maybe 2 Eddie Vedder. Like, these are like pop singers that people would know.
I'm number 3 fan too.
Number 3, Scott Weiland from Stone Temple Pilots.
He's my number 2.
And then number 4 is Len Staley, right? So I mean, we're not pretty.
No, we're our top 5 are probably the same, except in different order. I mean, mine would be Len Staley number 1.
Yeah.
And Scott Weiland number 2. Eddie Vedder number 3. Okay. I'll give Chris Cornell number 4. I will. Okay. But who would be my number 5? That'd be a toss-up between quite a few people on that one, because there's a few that I really, really like. But that's my top 3, top 4 is definitely there. Cornell, Vedder, Staley. I'm even going to put Jerry Cantrell as my number 5 because he's so melodic.
I like Trino Marino from Deftones. I think he's good.
Yeah.
He can do a lot of shit with his voice. He has a good scream. He has a pretty good range. His voice is really warm. Like, his tone is really warm. But I mean, you could put anyone in that place. You could put Corey Taylor there. You could put Jonathan Davis there. You could put, so many amazing singers out there, right? So
there really is. I don't even. It's so hard to put things in a top. Once you get past, like, you got your personal favorites, and then I got my top 4 right there. And you can put them in any order. When you get to 5, that's where it's like, oh man, I really enjoy this. But Stone Temple Pilots, Alice in Chains, Pearl Jam, and Chris Cornell. I do like the band, but I was more. I think there was songs I liked with Chris Cornell more. I just enjoyed the music more from. I like Soundgarden. There's some great songs that I really love, but I really loved. I actually think I like Temple of the Dog more than I did Soundgarden. That's just me. I loved the way him and Eddie Vedder fed off each other like in Hunger Strike, one of my favorite all-time songs. But there was just something special about Len Staley and Jerry Cantrell. There was the yin to the yang on that.
How old are you, if you don't mind?
I'm 46.
Okay,
I grew up in
that's the Temple of the Dog fucking era right there.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I lived through it. I was in high school in the 90s. That's why when people, I hate grunge. I love the 80s too. I think I grew up in a great time where, the 70s where people loved that too. So you give me up till 2000, I think the music's been not as good since. I mean, what you hear, I mean, there's a few good bands like Breaking Benjamin I really enjoy. And
Queens of the Stone Age came out in the 90s, but they kind of broke free in 1998 to 2000, and they continue to be great, and they're amazing, dude.
Yeah. I mean, there's still good bands. Yeah, there's still quite a few out. Queensryche.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of bands that I really, really, really enjoy. I loved Faith No More. Was another one. They were really good live. I saw them on the Guns N' Roses Metallica concert. There's another one. I'd go Axl Rose. I mean, 80s, 90s, you could say. What's that?
Axl, I like Axl. Those bands are interesting because you had Metallica, right? That kind of dictated this genre of music in the 80s, kind of ran through the 80s and like kept to their guns until they did the Black Album and kind of sold their souls and became this huge fucking pop band or whatever, right? But I mean, they did their thing and they're amazing songwriters. James Hetfield's a great singer. Those guys are like an all-star fucking crew and they're amazing live and the whole bit. But I mean, then you had Guns N' Roses too, and they were like this band that killed ass rock.
Yeah.
Like from Motley Crue and the White Snakes and all these bands. Then once you had like Guns N' Roses, it was like, we're talking about this now. And then you had Nirvana, and then everyone was like, we're talking about this now. And then Nirvana got so fucking huge that all these bands like that were doing shows with Nirvana just exploded. Like that scene, that was the next English Invasion. Where you had like Chains, fucking like
It Smells Like Teen Spirit came out.
It was crazy.
I remember.
That's why I play guitar.
80s rock was dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I hear a lot of 90s influence. That's what I was going to tell you before. Was I heard a lot of Alice in Chains. I heard a lot of the. I don't want to say because it's your own style and it's your own original stuff, but you could see that was your influence. That was your time, the 90s, and believe me, I love it.
But those guys, they were influenced by like bands like Led Zeppelin and Black Sabbath and the Beatles and the Rolling Stones and David Bowie and all these guys too, right? The Doors. So I mean, it's all relative, right? And Nirvana were kind of like my predecessor, or whatever it is. Like that's why I am who I am. Kurt Cobain and the Pearl Jams and the Stone Temple Pilots and all these bands. And dude, like my parents would like drive to Florida or something a couple of times in my childhood, and I would just have the headphones on with the batteries, and I would be like studying the licks of everyone. Smashing Pumpkins, just to give Chad Middleton a little shout out. Smashing Pumpkins, Billy Corrigan is a great fucking songwriter. He was one of the best songwriters of the 90s, but my other side to Smashing Pumpkins and like Siamese Dream is like in the top 10 albums of the 90s. And, Gish is a great album. And, Siamese Dream and The Infinite Sadness, that's kind of all their shit that's left over. But I mean, and it's a good double album. Don't get me wrong. There's gems on that album, but I don't think he's a great singer. And I don't think they're a great band live, but Billy Corrigan is a kick-ass songwriter. You know what I mean? I just feel like he's kind of in the game. He doesn't know how to deal with being in the game for as long as he has because he's not playing Madison Square Garden anymore. He's playing some fucking bar in Chicago or something, right? But I mean, that doesn't take away from the fact that he wrote Siamese Dream, he wrote Melancholy and Infinite Sadness, and he wrote Gish. And those are three of the fucking best albums of the 90s, man. So hats off to Billy Corrigan, right? Like, wow.
Yeah, sometimes it's not the best vocals, but how you sing them. And he's an amazing songwriter. Smashing Pumpkins were huge. I wasn't a huge fan of his voice either. I think I'm on the same thing with you, but you can't take away from his songwriting skills.
It's incredible.
Incredible. Oh, it's amazing.
The only band with a heart rate right now that's like going real strong from that era, I think, is the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Pearl Jam kind of like they're always in reconstruction, but like Red Hot Chili Peppers, man. John Frusciante's back in the band. Their new album comes out. It's already out, I think, right? And I mean, it's not my cup of tea. I didn't really see Red Hot Chili Peppers have always been there,
Yeah.
Like for me, they've always been around. They've always been relevant in those movements, and they've been able to like to live, to survive. And dude, like they have the best rhythm section in music, and I think it's better than Tool's. You know what I mean? Like Tool for me, it's like they're like Danny Carey, and then you have the bass player Justin, whatever the fuck his name is, and then you have the Maynard, James Keane. Those three guys are the bass and the drums are they do some incredible shit like with Tool, but Red Hot Chili Peppers are like Chad Smith and Flea, dude. It's like that's crazy, dude. That's a solid.
Other than when they lost, when they kind of had their little, drugs and all that stuff kind of broke up the band for a little bit. When they got it back together, the thing about the Red Hot Chili Peppers is they've never changed to fit in. They still stuck with they're going to play their music the way they're going to play it, and it's their own style. Where other bands like as a Metallica fan, we talked about the Black Album. I still say it's a great album, but you saw as a fan, you knew it wasn't. It was never going to be the same.
It's not Master of Puppets. It's not Ride the Lightning. It's different. It's like this huge sound, and it blew people away. And I don't think they could sustain that. They couldn't deal with that. They couldn't deal with that. Like 12 million people bought this fucking CD now. You know what I mean? Like, and they were just, and same with Nirvana. But I mean, Nirvana, like Metallica were a huge band before the Black Album, but now it was just like, now they were played on the corporate radio stations. And like, it's like, they were just looking at each other like, what the fuck? And they got so big that they didn't know what it was to be hungry anymore.
Yeah.
And you could hear it after the Black Album. You could hear it after the Black Album. Chris Cornell interval at AIC Comics. Chris Cornell is my favorite vocalist. So yeah, man, like he is an amazing vocalist.
Interval is one of my good friends. Nice. He's a guy that I started basically gaming with before I even started. Like that's what I started off doing in this, like in YouTube, was pretty much gaming. Intervals, and he's a big music guy. He plays guitar, he does some vocals, and we talk music a lot.
Check out frailfragment.com. Like all of the last 4 albums that I've done are on there, and you can catch them like on Spotify and iTunes and YouTube. I put them all up on YouTube, and I have some short stories on my website, frailfragment.com. I got some photos that I've taken. I'm just trying to create a body of work. And during this pandemic, I actually started working on a podcast called The Red and Len Show, and it's gonna be ready for launch in June. And we're kind of doing 12 episodes at a time. So season 1, 12 episodes, season 2, 12 episodes. Cause it's not as, like a conversation like you and me. It's more of like a comedy show for an hour. And, just to kind of let loose and talk about what's in the news and in the media, and kind of just talk shit and have fun. And that's going to be up all over like all the streaming services in, I hope June. We're on episode 9 now. That's fully edited, or 10. Sorry, that's fully edited. So we got another couple of episodes to do. And we want to like edit those and package them nicely. And you're gonna hear some really cool shit, man. Like I'm telling you, like check out Red and Len Show when it's coming, and that's gonna be posted on frailfragment.com. I'm on YouTube under Len Lamanna. Check out Frail Fragment on YouTube. On Facebook, Instagram.
I was just gonna say that. I got a question for you. I want to play another song of yours. Sure. Now that we got a few people here. But so right now, are you recording all this by yourself, or do you have a band behind you that's playing?
So I wrote the music. I wrote all the music, and I recorded all the instruments. I do it with an engineer named Brian Gagnon in Toronto, who's amazing. He's an older gentleman. I think he's in his early 70s. And he was touring with like Sammy Hagar and fucking the 70s and shit, man. Like this guy,
he's a total pro.
This guy knows his shit, and like he can play everything. And like, yeah, he does fill in here and there, and we do kind of like bounce ideas off each other, and we're good partners. And we did this album in like a year, like just I was doing a song a month. And we recorded it fast, and we kind of got it out. And one of the best mastering engineers in Toronto, his name's Noah Mintz. He works for Lacquer, the Lacquer channel, and they do tons of big bands. And he mastered the album, and I'm really happy with this new album, E Fragment. So that's the 5th album. I don't know if you see it on YouTube. I can't see what you're looking at, but
I got
Ooh.
Four Walls, Frail Fragment,
Yeah.
Rise and Fall, Contaminate.
Yeah, Contaminate. Contaminate would be the one I would play probably on this show.
All right, let's roll it.
This is a heavier tune. It's dark, it's angry. Take a listen. All my shit's gonna be ready to go May 4th. So they're all premiering on May 4th, all these songs. And yeah, man, hopefully you guys like it.
All right, we're gonna hit it up. We're Containment by Frail Fragment.
Contaminate.
Contaminate. I'm sorry. You can't speak.
Listen to this drop.
Listen to what you say to me. Can't get in without the vaccine. Listen to what you say to me. Can't get in without the vaccine. To stay in a large house, social distancing. Sanitize body, understand, lock down in your cozy home. Listen to what you say to me. Can't get in without the vaccine. Listen to what you say to me. Can't get in without the vaccine. Listen to what you say to me. consider what you say to me. Can't get in without the vaccine. You see the disaster I've seen. When things get back to normal, we will soon forget the special transmission. I wish would never end. People will soon pretend like the children have not changed. Government drove insane, played with our lives like a game. The mental effects became.
Very cool, man. Very cool.
Thanks, John.
I'm ready to get rid of StreamYards though, because it just gives that mono sound. It doesn't give it justice of what it actually sounds like. So you guys got to check out Len Lamanna on YouTube. I'm gonna pull that up. I'm trying to find it. So you want to talk to them? I'm gonna put you on the solo layout, and I'm gonna start posting your links. You guys ask them questions. Well, actually, I'm gonna ask you questions, but I want to. Well, I guess I don't need the solo layout. It just looks funny when I'm like doing that, and then people, it makes me feel like I'm ignoring you, which I'm not. But you've been doing this since you were 15 or even younger, 12.
So yeah, the day I kind of heard Nirvana Nevermind, my life changed. Yeah. I ran to my buddy's house, played it for him, his life changed. And then I begged my dad to buy me an acoustic guitar. And at 12 years old, he brought me to like some music store at a mall, and he bought me an acoustic guitar because his friends said, make sure he learns on an acoustic because, it's harder to play and he'll be better, going to an electric. So, I took lessons.
I agree with that.
Right? You agree with that?
I agree with that. I do, because I think I learned a lot more playing acoustic. But I mean, I started with electric, and then when I went to acoustic, I found that I was able to not so much turn up the crunch.
Yeah, you can't hide your mistakes, dude. You can't hide your mistakes. You gotta press down on those strings to hear the note. You can't play some fucking distortion and just play whatever, right?
Those are the worst ones. The ones that the fretboard, those really work the fingers. Then when you go to an electric, it's like, damn, this is nice. It's kind of like jogging with weights on your leg, and then when you switch over, that's
exactly what it is.
Yeah.
So I took lessons for like 2 years off and on, and I fucking hate it. But I love my guitar teacher, and he saw something in me, there was a good songwriter in me, and we just started learning songs that I liked eventually, because he saw that I wasn't learning, he didn't care about doing the the music theory and stuff like that. So I mean, and then I started a band, and my buddy bought drums, and another buddy bought a bass and a guitar, and then I played rhythm guitar, and we started playing shows at 14 years old. And I've been with that band, and then when that band kind of dismantled, I was 16, 17. And, I was just trying to find myself and, going to all kinds of different places, like dark raves, after hours, fucking clubs, vampire clubs, and getting into electro industrial music, and just drum and bass. And I bought turntables, and I started spinning drum and bass, and I started spinning electro industrial. And I want to do an electro industrial album. That's how much I like that music, like VNV Nation and those bands. I really dig that, and I keep an open mind to every sort of genre of music, and I that music has a place in my heart, right? So I do want to hook up with a good producer in Toronto and kind of collaborate and do something, as far as an electro industrial kind of dark club album. I want to do that down the road, but and then I joined a band playing turntables, and we were doing well. We played Edgefest in Molson Park, and there was 40,000 people there. So that was really cool. And then, Frail Fragment, this band kind of started up soon after. And, I've been going with this band since, right? Since I was 23, 22, and I'm 40 now. Right. So I'm going to be 40 in May 4th. So, I'm always gonna play music, and I'm gonna fight to play music. And I got like 2 kids now, a 2-year-old and a 5-year-old, and I'm married, and I work for a living. But I'm never gonna stop playing, and I'm gonna fight for playing music, right? And jamming, playing shows, recording music. Gonna take a break from recording now because it really fucked me up. I think, like working and then like going to the studio and just like pulling like, 25-hour shifts like you're doing every day. And I just couldn't handle like I was breaking down mentally, like looking after 2 little kids and like just a lot of shit going on. So yeah, like that's what it is basically, so
Yeah, it's a lot of work to try to do anything. I can relate because even like I've learned to balance it, and I know my schedule now.
yeah.
Where I love doing this stuff like the horror stuff and the interviews. But I know now, like I set aside time because I got to do it. Not because I want to do it, but I've learned to balance it, especially working all the hours I do. Is that something that's really still difficult for you? Because you got the 2 and 5-year-old that can
yeah, that hurts. Yeah, like, and my daughter, she's the 5-year-old, and when she was growing, like when she was coming up a little 1, 2 years old, like she slept all night long, and my son sleeps all night long. But I mean, she was so careful with everything. This guy's flying over fucking couches, and like he's 7 bloody lips, and he's 2 years old. My daughter never got hurt. This guy's going crazy, right? So he's different energy for sure. And you gotta have eyes in the back of your head, chasing him around everywhere. But it is what it is, and I know that I am fortunate to have what I have, right? Like just being able to play music, having a family around me, and the whole thing, right? Could be a lot fucking worse. So
boys at 2 to 3, actually 2 to 5, 4, maybe getting into 5, they're off the wall. They're off the wall. My son was the same way. 3 years old. I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do with him. He don't care about anything I say.
He doesn't listen. Yeah.
But then he grew up to he's 25 now.
Oh,
and
damn.
He's like the best guy. Yeah. But I think it's just boys. We just go through that thing where we're just like, our biggest a-hole years are, I think, 2 to 5. And then once we get out of it, then we're just assholes, but we control our assholes most of the time. Most guys, we're assholes at times. But it was like overtime being, off the wall.
Well, let me ask you a question. What's your favorite horror movie that I would know?
My favorite horror movie of all time is Halloween 78.
Halloween 78?
Yeah. That's my favorite horror movie of all time.
Really, eh?
If you watch any, even with the mic, I was at my room. Michael Myers is like my dude. But I love Texas Chainsaw Massacre 74. I love oh my God, I love the new Terrifier movie. I can't wait for Terrifier 2. I love Sleepaway Camp. I'm a horror guy.
That one's good. My bass player Ian, my brother-in-law, he fucking brought that over one day, and we're all like sitting around watching that movie, and we're just like, at the end, we just kind of like looked at each other. This was going back.
Yeah, at that time, it was just something. And I'm actually going to be meeting Melissa Rose in May.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. She's at the same event that I'm at, and I can't wait. I actually got something really cool for Melissa Rose that I had somebody make that's going to be I haven't unveiled it because it's going to be going into something, and there's a plan with it. So I can't wait to show it to her at the event. I think she's going to be blown away. Only a few people seen it. I'll give you a sneak peek after the show.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'll explain it to you because I'm planning on doing a Doomsday's Krypt loot box for anybody who's out there, where it's going to have talent from people in the community, and we're going to throw it in a box, and we're going to have a bunch of different stuff. You never know what you're going to get. You could get a one-of-a-kind original in it, but even if you don't get a one-of-a-kind piece, you're still going to get your money's worth no matter what, but you could get something that's added value by one of the amazing talents in Doomsday's Krypt that I deal with, whether it's Vinny Cucurato piece, Jesse Aaron's piece, Michael Toth piece, like just different people that I'll hire, and there's going to be like one of a kind. So it's a box, a mystery box inside a mystery box. That's why I don't want to say what the piece is and this and that. But there's some cool stuff that's going in there. I want people to get their money's worth. And I don't want to go to these events and really sell things. I want to have a box that's a Doomsday's Krypt box, and they'll be packed with some really, really cool stuff.
How long have you been doing this for? How long have you been doing this?
Only like a year.
Okay.
About
That's still
a
a long time, man. That's still like I'm 10 episodes into my podcast, and it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. So hats off to you, man. That's great that you're pushing, man, and you're creating a body of work, right? That you have.
I think so. I mean, it's something I never really expected to do, and like I said, it's I'm not doing it to make money or anything. I actually spend way more than I want to. I mean, I've spent probably 20 to 30 grand in my collection and going to these events, supporting these different projects because I love it. And I want to give back to the community. I want to see everybody in the community succeed, whether it's indie projects, musicians like you. And actually, I got to update my video equipment, but I'm so busy buying art and masks and busts. And
have you heard of Inferno Effects? They're a really good mask company out of California. They sent me a mask, and I wish I had it on me to show it to you. It's like a nutcracker mask. And it has and the mouth opens like so you can talk with it, dude. It looks so fucking cool.
I know a bunch of different ones, like Camp Crystal Cabin 6. He'll be there with me. He makes Jason Hawks, all different ones.
Nice.
I've got. I'll show you my collection. It's pretty insane. It just keeps growing, and I got more coming. Like
I think I have seen it, dude. Like on one of your shows, it was in the background.
Yeah. That's just a part of it that I could fit in the camera. Yeah. I mean, I got a lot of cool stuff. Whether it's Evil Jay's Creepy Closet, Jesse Aaron's, Vinny Cucarato, who makes like these small scale things, and he just did the radio station that's going to be from Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. That's going to be there. K.O. Kala. So that radio station is going to be there. And then I got another Halloween Kills piece that's going to be coming that he's doing. And I got Nick Malpagano's got a few things that I've talked to him. He's doing I don't like to spoil things because the event I want to unveil it, but Nick Malpagano's doing the Kills mask for a Vinny Cucarato display. Like anything that you see, the bust and everything, and you're talking like ultimate talent, and the table's gonna pop.
Nice.
And we got some plans too, especially Phantasm. I'm going there in August, so that there'll be even more for that. And then I'm going to Krypticon, and I got a table there. I got to set that up too, and that's in September. So hopefully, pretty big convention month. Maybe get somebody music playing on the TV behind me because I plan on having a screen and doing trailers and stuff. Well, I got the Ravage trailer we could throw in there with your music. Man. I mean, that's what I'm about. Is really I want to help the community. I want to help them succeed and share out any way I can. And I don't do it. I got a job that I work my ass off. So this is kind of like my hobby,
just to stop you, man. That's like when you told me what you do for a living. I don't know if your audience knows, but that's an awesome. That's an awesome thing to do, with your life, to give back to people, and you're a vital piece of those people's lives. So I mean, that's awesome, and it's a very rewarding job. My mom did that for I want to say 15 years. So and she's right now she's I think she's a high school teacher now, but she's ready to retire. She's like 62, but she had her day with 15, 20 years of that, and I've seen what she went through, and she loved her job. She loved it.
You can't do it for a long time if you don't love what you do.
Yeah.
Like I personally love it. It's not work to me. I mean, I love what I do. That's why I can work all these hours. We don't get paid a lot in our field, I just happen to work a lot of hours. Yeah. And if I wouldn't be doing this really if it wasn't for my job, because one of the people was a mask man. Everything was mask. So I started collecting a mask, started doing unboxings, and then did a table at Krypticon in October. And
nice.
And then I try to support the people in the community. Like I got a lot of talented friends, and I want to see them succeed because they are, and show them off. Like Vinny's one of the best like modeled like small scale. What the guy does is insane. Jesse Aarons with his mask making, Michael Toth with his art, Scott Straka with his art. I mean, there's just so many people. I don't like to leave people out. Daniel Cruz does some amazing work. Meeting people like you, if I helps reach a new 2, 3, 4 fans, and it's cool when I got people in here, whether it's 2 people or 20 people, it doesn't really matter to me. I just enjoy doing this and sharing it out and trying to help any way I can, you know. Sure. And it's a pastime for me. This part, yeah.
Yeah. I appreciate it, and I'm sure the community appreciates it too, right? Like, it's undeniable.
I appreciate the community too, you know. I mean, I have a lot of fun with it, and I've met so many interesting people. It's, you know, what can I say? What can I say?
It's a project. I don't like, money isn't like, it's not on my mind. You know, if I believe in something, like, I don't think that way, right? Like, I'm not. I guess I think like a musician, right? Like, if I'm passionate about something, I'll be there.
Yeah.
You know, if a band is tight and they're like, "Hey, man, you want to sing with us, like this show or whatever?" If I like the music, yeah, I'll do it. If I don't like the music, it's kind of like it's a favor. But if I'm passionate about what you're doing, yeah, man, I'm all about the art. You know, creating that body of work, getting out there, and, you know, if anybody needs anything, you know, if anybody needs songs, frailfragment.com. Like, I got a lot of different stuff. I've written over 60 recorded songs in the last while, and you know, I got tons of, like, I play a Rolly Seaboard. It's crazy MIDI keyboard, dude, for like scoring, where, you know, keyboards, you press the keys, but with this thing, it's like a silicone pad where you're like massaging the keys and you're going into the keys and half notes and stuff. So if somebody's strangling somebody, you're kind of like in that scene where you can like feel the pressure.
You're almost, it's not pressing the keys, it's you move. It gives you more touch with what you're doing. You can play, you can be your own effect, like, you know, where you bend a string or something, but you can kind of do it that way. I could see that being a fun instrument to play and learn too. That could add a lot to the music.
And I just got it maybe a year ago, right? It was something that once I got on Ravage, I kind of hopped on and got that keyboard and did YouTube tutorials and learned how to play it on my own, right? It's relative. Like, I've been playing drums and guitar and bass and, you know, DJing. So yeah, like, it's not a conventional keyboard or piano, so as well, but it's something in itself. It's a cool thing to have. It's a very coveted thing to have. Like, a lot of, you know, people that do scores love using that. So, I mean, I wanted to grab one, and I did, and I have one, and that's a great story for another day, because just quickly, like, I was trying to buy it, and, you know, I don't have much money, man. So I was trying to, like, you know, give it to me for this. And they were saying no. And then they eventually said, "I'll let you borrow it."
That's cool, man.
So I literally drove to their house, and I live in a big city, dude.
Yeah. I've been to Toronto. Yeah.
Yeah. There's like 2 million. So I drove to this person's house, and it was like this 16-year-old girl handed me the fucking Rolly in a box, the best MIDI keyboard in the world, on the planet. And I drove off. It was like some weird fucking like cosmic interaction, because I was like, dude, this girl just gave me the fucking best keyboard in the world and doesn't even know who I am. And I started to break down from it. And like that night, I just started crying. I'm like, this girl is so good that she's trusting me to give this thing back to her. So I contacted her. I'm like, you know what? Like, you just kind of like opened my eyes to like what it is to be a good person. And I don't want to change that. And I have an important role now. I'm going to make sure you get this fucking thing back.
And make some good music on it that you can share with her.
Exactly. But I mean, that's a cool story, because, you know, she didn't have to, she put so much trust in that person, you know, like she didn't even know. And this thing is like going for like $1,200 on, you know, like, at the store that you can't. It's all sold out anyway. So I mean, I got my hands on another one. I bought another one for kind of the price point I was asking her for, and you know, I'm gonna bring hers back to her. Like I'm gonna make sure she gets it. Like I just bought one a few weeks ago for myself, so I'm gonna make sure she gets hers back for sure. You know, because it was a special thing that happened. You know, like I don't know.
That's cool, man. And the fact that you appreciate it too. There are still good people out there. It's hard to believe at times, but there are good people out there.
I forgot that. Like I became very jaded when you know people are fucking killing each other over toilet paper at a grocery store. You know what I mean? Like it made me sick, and like we're one natural disaster away from killing each other, basically. You know, like let's say somebody shut our power grid off, dude, and we had no fucking power for a month. We would all end up killing each other. It's nuts. It's
just had survival skills.
Yeah. It's like, and I mean, I needed that. I needed this girl to fucking come show me that, you know, like, hey, there's
still good love.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's kind of what I do with my job too. I mean, you know, like at the time, and this was 8 years ago when I started, it just felt like, you know, you hit a point in your life at times, and like this job was kind of one of those things that just brought me back to humanity. I'm like, oh, you know, it can always be worse. You know, it can always be worse.
Yeah.
What do you think? You want to play another tune?
I would love to play another tune, and I got a jet soon after that tune. But
I do too.
If you could do Rise and Fall, that would be great, man. Like
let's do Rise and Fall, and then we'll end it.
Cool. I appreciate it. frailfragment.com. You know, look me up, Len Lamanna on Facebook, Frail Fragment on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, frailfragment.com. YouTube is Len Lamanna as well. But yeah, again, thank you, John, for everything. And hopefully we can keep in touch and do something else in the future.
I have, I don't want to screw up his name because I told you, I got Jake coming on next Sunday.
Oh, nice. Okay. Well, I'll tune in for that. Because I think he did a great job, man. I think he did a great job in that movie, man.
Oh, he's fantastic. And that's not, like I told Mike, that's not an easy role to play because he did a lot of the scenes by himself. Yeah, he's fantastic. I'm looking forward to talking to him. I know Mike's real proud of him. All right, so we're going to play Rise and Fall.
Yeah, this is on the new one. This is on the new album. It's a little different than the first song, but thanks again for your time. And keep in touch. Red and Len Show as well. Coming, new podcast coming. Going to be launching that in June. The Red and Len Show. Follow me on Facebook.com, and you'll get all the information you need from there. Thank you.
And I'm going to drop the links, guys, in the chats on Facebook and everything, so you guys can check out his channel. Give him a subs. Check out his music. Give it a listen. He's got a bunch of it on there. So here we go with Rise and Fall. I've already listened to this one. This was one of the ones I listened to. I really liked it. So I think you guys are going to enjoy this.
Take care.
Find me a place to hide. I'll go and stay on the other side. Won't come out until I've seen you fail. The damage you've done, the poison in hell. Glad to see the sun rise and fall. Glad to see the sun rise and fall. Fall apart in front of my eyes. Sanity is lost. A paradise of lies. A new world born. The old one died. Don't be afraid to say hello. My children will cry. Glad to see the sun rise and fall. Glad to see the sun rise and fall. How much is lost? What else will you buy? At any cost, inspire me to try. Glad to see the sun rise and fall. Glad to see the sun rise and fall. Glad to see the sun rise and fall. Glad to see the sun rise and fall.
All right, awesome, man, awesome. I just wish I'm getting rid of StreamYard. I'm doing something else because the sound it gives is so bad and it doesn't give justice. You guys should check it out on YouTube. I chopped the links for his YouTube, and you'll get so much better sound. It was something I didn't realize until Steve Merlo and the Sawyer Massacre trailer was playing. I just started dropping the trailers, and there might be a way to do it, but I don't know what it is. It just gives off the worst. Whenever you play something on StreamYards, it's just mono. It doesn't have. It doesn't. Yeah, it's terrible. StreamYard, you better fix that, or I'm out of here. You ain't gonna get all this. Who? No, but thanks, Len. I really enjoy it. It's like I said, guys, check it out on YouTube, and you'll get a full sound on it. Get some run it through some speakers, or even your phone better than StreamYard, because StreamYard is so bad. It doesn't do it justice. But yeah, keep up the awesome work. You guys check out Len. Go to his YouTube. Give him a subscribe. Check out his music. Give it a thumbs up. You know, let him know what you think of his music. I'm wishing you the best with all your career. I'm glad to hear you're working with Mike and Ravage 2. You're going to be doing even more, it sounds like, on that for the soundtrack. And that's
from what I hear. Yeah, like we're going to have a few songs on there, which is cool, man.
Yeah, and Ravage 2, the trailer just dropped today. He shared with me, and that was a really, really great trailer. So yeah, I'm excited for you, man. Keep up the great work. Best of luck with your career.
Thank you.
I'm hoping, I know everything with the lockdown. I know you're ready to get out and perform in front of a live audience. So I'm rooting for that to start rolling for you, so you don't have to just sit in the studio by yourself and get out there and entertain some people live.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody in the chat. I appreciate you guys being here. The support's always awesome, and I can't thank you guys enough. And we'll see you next time. I got an interview tomorrow. Tomorrow night is with Cindy. I don't want to screw up her Santiago, I think is her last name. And we're going to be talking about Horror Able, which I'm really excited to talk about this campaign and and share it out with everybody. So until tomorrow night, same time, 8 p.m. Take care, everybody.
Thanks, Mike. Or thanks.
Len, you see, it's cool. I was looking at Mike here from Crystal Cabin 6, so I could have called you Mike too. Hey, okay, we'll see each other later. I'm Mike, and this is Mike over here with me, and we'll see you next time.
Maybe for Ravage 2, we'll come back on. We'll have another conversation when that's
absolutely. Maybe I'll get you and Mike, and also I don't want to say his name wrong, Jake Scazzaro.
Yeah, man, that'd be cool.
Well, yeah, I think that'd be a lot of fun. So we'll definitely do that. StreamYard is about 65 to 75% audio at best, so you lose 30% of it. Oh, you definitely do. It sounds like crap on you. Like, I've listened to the music and I dig it, and on here it just sounds like it just doesn't show the quality of the recordings. That came Crystal Cabin 6. Yeah, the bass is definitely missing. It's definitely, you get the high tones. That's about it. But everybody, take care. Len, thank you again, and we'll get together soon, I'm sure.
Sounds good, man. Take care.
All right, you too.